In this video, I'm going to be going over the best CrossFit training program for new CrossFitters. Also, this video is part 2 of a 2-part series on how to get started in CrossFit. In the first video, we went over the basics of how to get started in CrossFit, some basic shoulder exercises to prevent shoulder injury, which can be a common problem for new CrossFitters, as well as some things I wish someone would have told me before starting CrossFit. If you're interested in watching that first video, I'll link to it in the description below, but without any further ado, let's get into the video. Hey, my name is Michael Groff, and the goal of this channel is to help new CrossFitters get fitter, faster, and stronger in the sport. I give practical training tips as well as review CrossFit related products and training programs. So if you want to get started in CrossFit and not make the same mistakes I did when first starting out, consider joining the team by subscribing and hitting that notification bell. So a few months ago, I was right in the middle of training for my first CrossFit competition, and I was looking for a training program to help me level up my CrossFit performance. At the time, personal training wasn't going to quite fit into my budget, so I decided to look for an online training program. And I was stoked to find a very high quality yet affordable training program called the Professor Project. The Professor Project is created by CrossFit Games athlete Brent Fikowski and is an online training resource for CrossFitters of all levels. In this video, I'm going to be going over what makes the Professor Project unique and how it is perfect for new CrossFitters. I'm also going to be going over how it helped me in my first CrossFit competition, so be sure to stick around so you don't miss anything. So before I get into some of the reasons why the Professor Project is great for new CrossFitters, let me quick tell you what exactly the Professor Project is. The Professor Project, unlike most CrossFit training programs out there, does not provide you with daily programming or long-term workout plans. Maybe that will be a feature they will include in the future, but at the time of this video, the Professor Project is an online training resource for CrossFitters. It's designed to teach you the basics of CrossFit. For example, if you're having problems with butterfly pull-ups and you're a Professor Project member, you can log in and go watch all the videos Brent and his team has on butterfly pull-ups. Now, if you're watching this and you're an advanced CrossFitter, the Professor Project still has a lot to offer you as well. Brent and his team has training on nutrition, injury prevention, and workout strategy that I know you'll find extremely helpful. So you're probably asking yourself how much the Professor Project costs, and it doesn't cost that much at all, to be honest. In fact, it costs $19.99 per month or $177 per year. Now, this is a subscription-based training program, which means that you will pay monthly or annually based on what your preference is. If you do choose to pay annually, you are gifted with a free Professor Project t-shirt with your name on the back. If you're wondering why the Professor Project is a subscription-based training program, it's because Brent Fikowski and his team are constantly in there updating content, adding new coaches, and answering your training questions. Also, if you do choose to try the Professor Project after this video, you are given a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you're completely covered there. So now that we got the price out of the way, let's get into how the Professor Project will actually help you get better at CrossFit. One of the biggest things about the Professor Project is the movement videos that are included in the Professor Project. We touched on this a bit earlier, but Brent Fikowski and his team do in-depth commentary and demonstration of almost every single movement in CrossFit. Brent also has monthly challenges around these movements. So for example, one month we had a monthly challenge where we had to video ourselves doing as many chest to bar pull-ups as we could in 1 minute. Brent then takes those videos of us doing those challenges and he reviews them and tells us what we could do better. In addition to the movement videos, Brent and his team help you with something that a lot of CrossFitters tend to trip up on, and that is nutrition and recovery. As a member of the Professor Project, you'll get training from Brent and his personal nutritionist on how to recover better after workouts, as well as on-point nutrition strategy and tips. In fact, if you are looking to recover better after WODs, consider checking out my previous video where I go over some simple CrossFit recovery tips that will help you increase your performance. If you want to watch that video, I'll link to it in the description below, or you can check it out right here. The next thing that's included in the Professor Project is pacing, mindset, and strategy. In this section of the Professor Project, Brent Fikowski goes over how to pace your WODs correctly, how to pace specific movements, as well as how to strategize your workouts so you can perform better. In fact, this is why I joined the Professor Project in the first place. I was mainly looking for tips on how to pace my workouts in the competition correctly and how to recover better after the workouts so that I was good to go for the next workout in the competition. And I can tell you from being in the Professor Project myself that Brent's training on pacing and strategy is awesome. Using the tips that I was taught in the Professor Project, I was able to have a very enjoyable first CrossFit competition. I knew exactly what I was going to eat, when I was going to eat it, and how I was going to prepare for the upcoming workouts. I also did another whole video a little while back with more in-depth details on how the Professor Project helped me in my first CrossFit competition, so if you want to check out that video, you can do so right here. Another cool thing you get being in the Professor Project is probably one of my favorite things, is you get live Q&A with Brent Fikowski, his team, and his sponsors. During these live Q&As, you can ask Brent any questions you want about your own training or even about his training. In addition to live Q&As with Brent Fikowski himself, you also get live Q&As with his team and his sponsors. For example, one time we had a live Q&A with Chandler Smith, which is also a Professor Project coach, and we had a live Q&A with one of Brent's sponsors, the Sidekick tool. Another cool thing is these live Q&As are recorded, so if you miss one, you can always come back later and watch it. Also included, if you're a Professor Project member, is access to the private Professor Project Facebook group. In this group, you get to meet other CrossFitters who are also Professor Project members, as well as ask questions in the group. These questions are a lot of times answered by Brent and his team. In fact, Brent and his team are very active in the group and are very good at answering almost every single question. Those are just a few reasons why I really love the Professor Project and why I think it's the best training program for new CrossFitters. Also, a little while ago, I did a full review on the Professor Project, in addition to another video on how the Professor Project helped me in my first CrossFit competition. So if you want to check out those videos, I'll link to that playlist in the description below. Also, if you want to check out the Professor Project itself, I'll link to that in the description as well. Also, remember this video is part 2 of a 2-part playlist on how to get started in CrossFit. So if you want to check out the first video, I'll link to that in the description below. See ya.